On today's news, Finn Balor's WWE future has been revealed, some major plans for the Street Profits were canned, Laurie's review of Raw, and more. I got some great suggestions in the comments yesterday of embarrassing things I could make my manservant Ollie do once he's back from his holiday, and I'm considering a lot of them, but we need to make sure we get to 815,000 subscribers first, so subscribe for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
Prior to last night's episode of Raw, Finn Balor hadn't been seen since his loss in his 2-on-1 handicap match against Roman Reigns and God at Extreme Rules. I still can't believe that's the actual explanation we got for it. But on last night's Raw, which was the second night of the draft and a show that Laurie will have a review of in a couple of minutes here, Finn Balor was drafted to the Red brand, which I think is smart. If God is looking out for Reigns, get as far away from him as you can, Balor. Many fans were particularly worried about Balor's WWE future, as many saw the potential scenario of WWE building up the demon just so Reigns could beat him, and then back down the card you go, I guess, see you never. But this doesn't appear to be the case, as according to WrestleVotes on Twitter, one Raw writer in particular banged the table for Finn Balor to be used in McIntyre's role on Monday nights. I want my demon, and I want him now. This should at least be a positive sign for Balor fans that he might not fade back into complete obscurity. Instead, he'll feud with Jinder Mahal, Veer, and Shanky. Oh wait, no, they got split up in the draft along with about 17 other tag teams. WWE didn't even have 17 teams before, but somehow they found them and then split them up. One team that has remained together through this draft, though, is the Street Profits, who joined Montez Ford's wife Bianca Belair on Raw. But it wasn't for lack of consideration, because according to PW Insider, there was serious consideration put into breaking up the Street Profits, with Ford joining Belair on Raw, while Dawkins went it alone on SmackDown. The split talk reportedly lessened over the week, and WWE ultimately decided to split up Mace and T-Bar instead. Here's a crazy idea, WWE. You don't have to break up any teams. You've done it an awful lot this year with Notribution, The New Day, Jinder Mahal's Maharaja Meatheads, Natalya and Tamina, Shotzi and Nox. Wait, Shotzi and Nox? They only just debuted. They beat the women's tag team champions like 3 times and then seem to challenge the new champions. This company. Weirdly though, it's another member of WWE's women's division that got the short end of the stick on last night's show, as Dana Brooke was not only squashed by Shayna Baszler in quick fashion, but she also received one hell of a call out from Corey Graves on commentary. It's well known by now that WWE commentators are more or less mouthpieces for Big Vinny M in the back, so to hear Graves say on commentary during her match that you need to cut bait because Brooke hasn't shown any potential in the ring, it's a bit jarring to say the least. Once again, WWE burying its own talent. What a lovely place to work. And now let's hand over to Laurie for his review of last night's Raw in about 5 minutes, which I'm sure he's thrilled about.
So Luke's away on paternity and Ollie is on holiday, so it falls to me to review Raw. Oh joy. SmackDown Women's Champion Rebecca Lynch opened the show, jumping the gun and announcing herself as the first draft pick for Raw, saying she was the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion and technically she never lost the belt. And so the point of Bianca Belair losing the SmackDown Women's title was... Becky says that she wants to be Becky 2 belts again, and this summons Charlotte from the back, which summons Bianca Belair from the back, which summons Pearson DeVille to make Bianca versus Charlotte the main event of the show. But considering that Becky all but challenged Charlotte to a champ versus champ, that match now feels like a foregone conclusion, as probably does the Crown Jewel match. A way to show your hand, WWE. Ultimately, the 3-way banter was fine, and the crowd were into both Becky and Belair and happy to boo Charlotte, so that was good. But the revolving door promos to open every single show need to die a death. The first round of draft picks then cemented Becky Lynch as a Raw talent, kept the Usos on SmackDown, much to the relief of Paul Heyman, who knows what favours he's had to do to make that happen, and then Raw picked up Bobby Lashley and SmackDown squared away Sasha Banks. After that we saw Jeff Hardy get the send-off he deserves before transferring over to SmackDown. A roll-up. This was a short and to the point match with Priest kicking out of a swanton right into a crucifix pin. Post-match, Jeff thanked the crowd, saying that SmackDown's going to be an opportunity for us to see a different side of Jeff. A different ego. Bloody Willow. But standing in Willow's way was Austin Theory, who came out fanboying hard for Hardy and asking for a selfie before clocking him and taking his own selfie with an unconscious Jeff. RK Bro were interviewed with Riddle making penis jokes, and Randy called out Omos. Draft round 2 and Raw got Seth Rollins and kept Damian Priest, while SmackDown retained King Nakamura and Rick Boogs while adding Sheamus to their ranks. After that, Shayna Baszler physically buried Dana Brooke, while Corey Graves decimated her verbally, saying, "I understand giving people time to develop, but Brooke has accomplished nothing."
Stop. She's already dead.
Brooke tapped in the Kirifuda clutch and Baszler beat her down post-match, only for Doudrop to skip her way out and make the save. Baszler backed off and then went for a cheap shot that was no-sold, and then everyone just sort of awkwardly stood there. Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo picked up a victory over Mansoor and Ali thanks to a sneaky posting, but there was no time to celebrate as here comes Big E. It is a 3-hour show, guys. Could we, take a little bit of the time over the wrestling? No time for that because Big E is here. Oh no, wait, here are some draft picks. Raw keeps hold of AJ Styles and Omos while picking up a Kevin Owens, while SmackDown called up Xia Li from NXT, a great choice, and took Shayna Baszler, who might have a really good time over on SmackDown. We then hop back over to Big E, who says he's achieved a lot but hasn't beaten Drew McIntyre. It's a Drew day! Yes it is, because Drew comes out, he makes that pun, and then congratulates E, saying he would love to have a match for the WWE Championship. The Dirty Dogs interrupt, and while this was only to set up the classic tag match on the way to a singles match, at least Dolph Ziggler actually had some real motivation here. He played tapes of him teaming with Big E back in his World Heavyweight Championship run, and then tapes of him teaming with Drew when he got called up from NXT. Rude then got in on the action, calling himself Big Bob. Big E's "not one person calls you that" was expertly delivered, and then Drew calls himself Big D. I'll bet. Which anyone who watches No Rolls Barred will know is actually Killian Dane / Big Damo's new name. Sorry, Drew, get yourself a new one. The inevitable tag match inevitably follows and is actually pretty good, giving both Drew and E plenty of time to shine, but also allowing Dolph to show off his crafty, wily ring veteran presence. The end comes as Big E sets up Dolph for the big ending, but Drew tags himself in, so rather than Big E hit the move, he just sort of puts Dolph down so that McIntyre can hit the Claymore. 1, 2, 3, job done, then Rude rushes the ring, so Big E gets to hit the big ending. Needlessly convoluted. Big E then accepts the challenge for Crown Jewel. Good to have that sorted. Reginald then tried to ask Adam Pearce backstage some sort of draft-based question, and then the Motley Crew arrived for the 24/7 title, so he had to leg it, did a flip to get out of the way, and flipped right into Apollo Crews, who said some stuff, and I just hope that he's never involved in any of this absolute shite again. New Raw draftee Kevin Owens arrived for a promo spot, was interrupted by Akira Tozawa, who was still waiting for the 24/7 title, who ate a stunner for his troubles, and then Owens headed to the back. This was all filler and no killer. So then the draft round 4 added the Street Profits and Finn Balor to the Raw roster and gave SmackDown the Viking Raiders and Ricochet, which might be the most exciting news for Ricochet since he joined the main roster. We then went back to the well as Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH rematched Natalya and Tamina. Pre-match, Nikki said that they were going to give them some BZK, some boom, zaps and kapows, while Rhea Ripley absolutely hated her guts. She hated them. Unsurprisingly, the champs dominated this one, with Rhea hitting the Riptide and then hoisting with great effort Nikki onto her shoulders to deliver an underwhelming splash. Round 5 of the draft got Gimp Daddy Karrion Kross and Alexa Bliss to Raw, while SmackDown took Cesaro and Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. Willie G, Goldberg himself, then called out Lashley for a chat. Bobby asked for a no-holds-barred match at Crown Jewel, which Bill said gave him a license to kill. Alright, Arn Anderson, and then I take out my gun. Bill then drove home the whole killing thing with this mixed metaphor of leaving Bobby's lifeless body in the ring, gasping for air. I'm not a scientist, but if he's still breathing, how can he be lifeless? And then I take out my gun. The Hurt Business then jumped Bill so he can spear, and we all moved on. Seth Rollins is back. Back again. Sethy's back. Don't mention Edge. He cackles. It was a promo. After that, Woods and Kofi tackle Cedric and Shelton, putting them down with a rope walk elbow drop from Woods. Post-match, the Street Profits came out in their never-ending quest for the smoke, and everybody dances. Randy Orton then called out Omos for a match, but used it as an opportunity to jump AJ Styles, hitting the RKO and then the Road as he hightailed it out of there. Round 6 of the draft saw SmackDown take Ridge Holland and his Beef Crisps and Sami Zayn, while Raw got Carmella and Gable Steveson, who did an acting with his mum and dad. Yay me. Chaz and Bianca then closed the show with a pretty good match. Both women showed off their gymnastic prowess, plus their strength with a series of fun spots and a well-worked contest, only for Becky to bloody drag Bianca off the cover after a KOD and throw her into the barricade before hitting her sort of rock bottom thing. And then Sasha Banks arrives and nails Becky and Belair with some running knees and then a backstabber to close the show. Raw was a bit of a mess, yeah. Because everything was this like muddle of interruptions, aimless draft introductions, farewells, false finishes, and set up for Crown Jewel, which wouldn't even be that bad if it wasn't 2 weeks away. That is 2 more weeks of beatdowns and false finishes to look forward to. On this show, when wrestling was actually allowed to happen, it was pretty damn good, but it was overshadowed by every single segment trying to achieve 4 different things at once and pretty much failing on all counts. 2 stars.
Buddy Murphy teases he'll be joining AEW, a rumor killer on the Bray Wyatt to Impact reports, more news on other talent changing companies, backstage details on the draft, and more.